Now time for the 7 things you'll be talking about today. Number 7.
Yes, surely Alabamians will now see a newly implemented tax cut on groceries and family essentials, contributing to an estimated $1.5 billion in total tax relief, for residents. That, of course, is according to Speaker Nathaniel Ledbetter. $1.5 billion. That's what they passed recently when it comes to tax relief. The tax on groceries goes from 3 to 2. That started yesterday. And a new 3-year exemption removes the 4% sales tax from a list of baby and maternity and menstrual products under the grocery change that applies to food as defined by the SNAP program, excluding alcohol, tobacco, and hot prepared foods. So I kind of wonder how that works when it comes to the new stuff they're talking about when it comes to, like, you can't buy junk and stuff. Does that change the tax there? I think it probably does.
Number 6.
Pro football is not back, but college football is. And Auburn secured a 38-24 win over Baylor on Friday to start the weekend. Everyone's like, all right, that's pretty good for Alabama football. Then Alabama suffered a 31-17 2-touchdown loss to Florida State. Way to go, Alabama. Kalen DeBoer wore a collared shirt, by the way. Just throwing that out there for Emily. This all prompted comments from Florida State offensive coordinator Gus Malzahn, formerly of Auburn, on how great it is to beat Alabama. Yeah, and so he's rubbing it in. And it is not great stuff here for the University of Alabama. Not too great. But I will tell you this. There are some people who are already calling for Kalen DeBoer's head. He ain't going anywhere. It's way too early in this to be talking like that. Stop it.
Number 5.
Speaking of Alabama universities, Alabama has 2 universities ranked among the nation's most conservative institutions. Samford University and Auburn. Yes, both of them have decided to be conservative institutions. Well, that's not really true. The students have self-reported themselves as conservative institutions. This is how they came up with the numbers. First off, Samford is sitting at number 20. Auburn is sitting at 22. The ranking is achieved by student surveys. 80% of the weight goes towards how the students identify themselves, and an additional 20% of the weight goes towards how the students identify the institution. So the students view it as a conservative institution, and they view themselves as conservative, 20 and 22 respectively.
Number 4.
Crime is an issue that is being addressed by the President of the United States, and he is doing it in the flashiest way possible. He is now praising Washington, D.C.'s mayor, Muriel Bowser, for collaborating with his administration on a crime crackdown. Chicago is bracing for a National Guard deployment, and they are not happy about that. It will be targeting immigration. And Chicago's mayor has signed an executive order opposing the move and declaring that the city will not work with federal officials in any way, shape, or form. So do they not want safety in their city? What a weird thing to do.
Number 3.
Early in high school football season, Alabama leaders are criticizing an Alabama High School Athletic Association rule that prevents school choice students from participating in sports, calling for an immediate review of the policy because the law of the matter is very clear. And it allows these students to play sports. The text of the law references this directly, saying this law will have no impact on the eligibility of student athletes. And it specifically says school choice shall not impact the student athletes. But they are still doing that. And they're trying to say that that's fair and making those students sit for a year. That's not how it's supposed to be done. The Alabama High School Athletic Association is out of control, and it is probably time to put the screws to the people doing this and potentially run them out.
Number 2.
Alabama Governor Kay Ivey hit back on California Governor Gavin Newsom for his ridiculous "it's not okay to pray" take that he has used in order to get even more national attention. And I give Kay Ivey absolute credit for this. Kudos to her. She referred to this as evil rhetoric, and she's right. She said the families impacted by this horrific... She's echoing me. I said this exact same thing. The families impacted by this horrific event are people of faith. The kids at Annunciation Catholic School are people of faith. They need our prayers. I'm disheartened to see this kind of evil rhetoric coming from anyone, let alone a fellow governor. And so kudos to Kay Ivey. I wish Kay Ivey would hit out at the person who is making the argument that Alabama's less safe than California. It's the same guy.
Time for the number 1 thing you'll be talking about today.
Losing the ability to levy tariffs could hurt President Donald Trump's ability to negotiate trade deals in the future, but an appeals court has basically said that Trump's tariffs on dozens of countries are illegal, prompting warnings from Trump that if this is allowed to stand, that we will essentially become a third world country. He is saying that we do not want this. We want the ability to levy these tariffs, and it is a real issue if the federal courts do strike this down. And again, he said we will become a third world nation if this happens. If the radical left court, this is Trump saying this, if the radical left court is allowed to terminate these tariffs, almost all of these investments and much more will be immediately canceled. In many ways, we would become a third world nation and no hope of greatness. Time is of the essence. Thank you for your attention to this matter. That's basically what Trump said. Now, there is a question about how much money is being made here. The $4 trillion number that we have heard bantered about to drive down the debt and deficit is nice to hear. And that's what the CBO says. What will they do with that money? Well, they'll probably turn around and spend it, to be honest with you. But it would be nice to see that. So we will see if this happens. Oh, Dale, this is a tax on... Yeah, dude, that's exactly correct. It is paid for by Americans. I don't think anyone disagrees with that. I know you like to keep saying that because you think that it's like some sort of hammer to use against this. But I'll remind you, I think people understand the premise behind tariffs is it makes foreign goods more expensive. So if Americans do buy them, they are paying more. I think we all get that. Okay, so congratulations on making the same point for like 2 years. Okay, congratulations. It's been super effective. So please continue making that point. It'll be interesting to see what happens here in how Congress handles it if a lot of these tariffs are wiped away. This, you ready for this? Could be a very positive thing for Donald Trump, though. Yeah, you remember when they wiped away Democrats and their ability to do student loan forgiveness? What did they do? They did this whole thing. It's like, oh, well, we wanted to give you more student loan forgiveness, but those damn Republicans wouldn't let us. Now, it didn't work too well electorally, but they went and made that argument. So I think Donald Trump could probably do the same thing if this does play out this way. Sort of like the crime and immigration stuff, too. I want to do more, but they won't let me sort of conversation. So we're staying on top of this. We'll follow this and all these other stories. Get your questions in for 10 with him. We will continue getting to some of those. Keep it locked right here. I am Dale Jackson. This is WVNN. We'll be right back.
Get WVNN's Dale Jackson's 7 Things You Should Be Talking About Today right in your email box every morning. Go to yellowhammernews.com and sign up today.